What's going on, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series. This episode will be about a game that probably is one of the most requested games for me to do a Hateful Truth on, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because a lot of people may think that this series has been overhyped and it's not as good as it really is, and they trust me to give the games a fair and balanced review, or I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, most games, as you know, what I do before I do a Hateful Truth review is I play the campaign, then I'll do all the modes that are in the game, so all the multiplayer modes and such, and then I'll do the Hateful Truth review so I can give you a complete picture of what the game was like overall. Well, this game, as soon as I beat the campaign, people were screaming and yelling for me to do a Hateful Truth, which wouldn't have been fair to the game, since I would have been skipping a giant chunk of this game's content. So, without further ado, the game we are talking about today is Gears of War 3 for the Xbox 360. And it sounds like my disc is loose, so I'm going to take it out. Gears of War 3. Now, there's a lot to be said for this game, a lot to talk about, and I only have 25 minutes to do it. So, what I'll say is this. If you don't know what the Gears of War 3 story is, you've been living under a rock probably for the past 5 years since this trilogy started. It is a game meant to close off the trilogy of the Gears of War games and have a definitive ending. At the same time, it's meant to be just as much content as the previous 2 installments in the game. So, what is it like? Well, obviously you know what Gears of War is like, but for those who don't know, it's a third-person shooter. It's a cover-based shooter. You'll find more shoulder-height walls in this game than you'll ever find anywhere in the real world or any other video game ever, because you take cover behind them. And the controls are just what you would expect from a third-person shooter. You've got your button to, look down the sights. You've got your button to shoot. You've got grenades. You've got various different weapons. You've got execution kills. You've got regular melee kills. You've got all kinds of variety of gameplay in this game. And remember, in the Gears of War series, active reloading, meaning pressing the reload button and then pressing it again at a specified quick time, it's like a mini quick time event almost, will give you things such as more ammo, quicker reload, and also a damage boost if you do it properly. And what I've just said is pretty much the gameplay of Gears of War 3. All you do for the whole game is you shoot shit, okay? And so, Gears of War 3, you're surprised it wasn't produced by Michael Bay, because pretty much that's the whole game. You know what I mean? Everything is explosions, massacres, very gory. It is a mature rated game, by the way. Kids should not be playing this because there's a lot of gore, swearing, and such. So, the real way for me to review this game is for me to talk about the single-player campaign. Of course, it's not single-player, it's co-op, which we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about all of the multiplayer modes, what I like about the game, what I think the game is lacking, and then we'll give it an overall review, okay? So, the campaign this time around ends off the story of Gears of War 3. And what everyone's been saying, the whole hype about this game is who lives and who dies. The tagline of the game is brothers to the end. So you kind of know someone's going to die in this game. I'm not going to spoil who if you don't know yet. The game's only been out for a week, so there's a chance that a lot of people don't know. But not everyone makes it through. The campaign is pretty standard Gears of War fare. You're going to have large-scale boss battles with gigantic detailed monsters. You're going to have a wide variety of enemies that you'll be fighting, including not only the locust, but the lambent in this game as well, which are actually aliens. Not only locusts, but I didn't mean aliens, that's not what I meant to say. Monsters that it's like the locusts have been taken over. They've been corrupted by this sickness, and it makes them almost volatile, like they can explode, but it also makes them almost look like undead, and they can have all these new abilities. So those are in the game. Like I said, there are several large-scale boss battles, pieces that kind of split apart where you're on turrets. You know how you have those turret shooting stages? Yes, you're going to have those. There's even an underwater stage, which I thought was really neat. So there's a lot of gameplay to this game, okay? And that's the campaign. The campaign is roughly, now I'm trying to remember how long exactly it was, it's probably going to take you around 6 to 7 hours to beat the campaign. Now, the thing that really is different about the campaign this time around, it has full 4-player co-op throughout the entire campaign, okay? And this is really the selling point of the game. If you ask Cliff Bleszinski, who actually was just at the Best Buy launch of this game in New York City, said, the big thing about this game right now, 4-player co-op for the campaign. We really worked hard to get it to work, and Myself, John Rambo, and my friend Joe did the co-op. We couldn't get a fourth, so we did a 3-player co-op the campaign, and we had a blast. And there's a lot to be said. Yes, it is repetitive. You are going to be killing hundreds of the same style of enemies. There is a wide variety of enemies in the game, and that is a great positive. But yeah, you're going to end up killing the same guy who looks identical to this to himself, you know, about 20, 30 times during the course of the game. And yeah, you know, it is pretty much Gears. Is there any innovation really to the gameplay here? Not really. Is there anything really new? No, not really. But the question is it enjoyable? And is it a good close to the trilogy, being that this is supposed to be the last Gears of War game? The answer is this. I think that if I had played this campaign single player, I probably would have thought, it's okay. It's average. It's just your average campaign. But I played it how it was meant to be played. With my friends in a cooperative atmosphere, the game becomes immensely more fun because now you can tell each other, hey, you go flank over there, and I'll go over here, and we'll pincher them, you know, and we'll get them that way. Or, you know, you're there to constantly revive each other and to talk to each other and communicate, and that's really where the campaign of Gears of War 3 shines, okay? So, for me, if I was by myself and I wasn't going to play with friends and I was just going to play through the campaign, this might just be a rent, okay? But being that I had friends and I could do the co-op, if you're going to do a co-op, it's an amazing experience, and I highly recommend that you do the co-op, okay? The graphics in the game, amazing. Look just as good as the other Gears games, even more detailed in my opinion. I mean, hell, I just finished playing Horde Mode, and we were up close to some of these guys. I was like, holy shit, there's so much detail. And I think the one major improvement that they did do is the lighting and the shadows. Take a look at the lighting and the shadows in this game. I remember when I was standing on top of the bridge, I looked at the ground, and the full silhouette of my character is now on the ground. How many games today have shadows and lighting like that? Not many. So the graphics, A+, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the multiplayer now, okay? The multiplayer has an extensive amount of modes and things for you to play through. Some of which are pretty fun and original, some of which not so much, okay? You've got your standard team deathmatch. It's been around since there's been online multiplayer. Not really that much innovation in the team deathmatch. However, it is the most highly played mode in the game, probably because people are so accustomed to that style of gameplay. The only twist with the team deathmatch is that it's not like you reach a certain number of kills and you win. What happens is it's actually depleting lives, which means, it really does mean you reach the same amount of kills, but basically, let's say your team has 15 lives. After 15 times your team dies, you will not respawn anymore. And so they just kill you off until the last guy. It's a little bit different than some other games where they say, okay, first to 15 kills, but you just keep constantly respawning no matter what until that 15th kill is hit. So there's a little bit of a twist, but Gears of War's been doing it that way all along. You've got Warzone, which is team deathmatch with a twist. You don't respawn at all. Everyone only has one life. Then you've got Execution, which again is team deathmatch, and it plays like Warzone. You only have one life, but the only way to kill your opponent is to do an elaborate execution move, which might not be as easy as you think, especially when the entire enemy team is still out there and they might stop you and revive their teammate, okay? You've got Capture the Leader, which is unique from Capture the Flag in a lot of ways. There is a leader on each team who it is your goal to down that person, grab them, and hold them for a certain amount of seconds, and once you hold them from that, you score, okay? And you win that round of the game. Way different than Capture the Flag, where your goal is to capture someone or capture the flag and go from point A to point B. Here you don't have to go to any point. You just have to find a way to defend this person who you're holding during that period of time, okay? You've got King of the Hill. King of the Hill, where your goal is to control certain points of the map during an established set of time, and you can earn points while you control it, and then that point will disappear, and a new point to capture will appear on the map, and everyone has to rush over to that one. And whoever gets, you know, I'm trying to be goal. It's like a goal total of points. Whoever reaches that first wins that match online. I said Warzone, Execution, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Leader, King of the Hill. Oh, and Wingman. Wingman, where it's 4 teams of 2, and you have, you know, that's your partner. It's your goal to eliminate everyone else and work together to eliminate everyone else. So if you don't get what I'm trying to say with all these multiplayer modes, is that it's all about teamwork. It's all about being focused and based and playing with your friends. Having an established team of people that when you play with them, you trust each other, you each have a role, you can communicate well with each other. That's how you excel at Gears of War 3, okay? And then 2 more modes. Horde Mode, which is a mode that really Gears of War 3 started, and a lot of games have kind of copied off of it, including Halo, where it's you and a team of 4 other people, so it's 5 people total, and your goal is to survive 50 waves of enemies. And every 10th wave is a boss wave, where you have giant boss monsters that come out, in addition to all the small guys that you're fighting, and you have to survive. Now, as you progress in these stages, you get earned money, and the money allow you to buy weapons, buy ammo, build turrets, build defenses such as barbed wire that'll slow down your enemies. It's really complex, and more complex than you would think at first glance, okay? And then last but not least is a brand new mode called Beast Mode, where again, you and up to 4 of your friends team up as the Locust, and now it's kind of like almost a reverse Horde Mode, where you're the Locust, and now you get to buy different Locust monsters. You can be the regular, drone. You can be a ticker and run around and blow shit up. You can be a giant Savager, or I'm sorry, not Savager, Berserker, I think it's called, who runs in, takes monstrous damage before he dies, and he can just pound the ground and kill multiple people at once. And it all depends on how much currency you earn by winning certain waves over and over, and how many kills you get. And that one you have to survive 12 waves of enemies and kill 12 waves of enemies as the Locust. So that is completely new, pretty original, and it was a lot of fun. I did that with John Rambo. We did 2-player co-op of it, and although we didn't really learn everything, we didn't pick every class, it was still a hell of a lot of fun. Some minor problems with the online play, I have to say. And the major problem that I had was the matchmaking. The matchmaking does not seem to work properly for Horde Mode or for Beast Mode. In fact, both times that I tried matchmaking for Horde Mode and Beast Mode, I never got into a match. I actually had to, for Beast Mode, as I said, play with John Rambo. We played together. And then for Horde Mode, I actually posted up on my Twitter, they call me DSP, and said, hey, listen, if anyone's interested right now to play Horde Mode with me, send me a message and we'll make our own private room, which is what we did, and then it worked fine. So I'm not sure what's going on there with the matchmaking, why the matchmaking doesn't work for Horde Mode and Beast Mode. Maybe it's bugged. But again, those modes are more geared towards people who you know or people who you trust, and you're going to, play with them and get to, give them roles and have strategies and stuff with them. Not just random strangers, okay? But that being said, the matchmaking should work. I don't understand why it doesn't for those 2 particular modes. Some other problems, and these are common things that people have always complained about in Gears of War. The shotgun is overpowered. A lot of the times if you just walk up to someone, boom, they die instantly, and it's really fucking annoying. Sometimes the aiming isn't as precise as you want. Like, there were many times when I'm at a corner, and a guy's walking right around the corner, and I pull my trigger to turn around the corner so I can shoot him with the shotgun and kill him, and I turn, and the shotgun, for whatever reason, is too far right, is too far left, it's up in the fucking sky. One time, my shotgun pointed through the guy, and I pulled the trigger, and the buckshot went through his body, never hurting him, and he executed me. And it's like, come on, man, what the fuck? Like, it's the 3rd game, and you haven't perfected the shotgun gameplay yet. It's really fucking annoying that sometimes the shotgun can be really wonky. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure if I played the game for hundreds of hours, I would master it, and I'd have no problems with it, but the bottom line is it's not easy to jump into and figure out how to use it properly in all situations. You have to put time into the game, and if they had programmed it better, then probably would have been a lot easier to do it, you know what I mean? So, there are still some problems with the gameplay that have never been really addressed, but then again, the game is a major seller, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know if that's the mentality they went with here, I'm not sure. So, who would like this game? Who is not going to like this game? Should you buy it? And what is my score? So, who will like Gears of War 3? Well, obviously, if you're a fan of the first 2 Gears games, it's a no-brainer. You're going to love this game. And you'll definitely like the way that they wrapped up the trilogy. I think the ending of the game was really good, well done, and I think it is a better way to wrap up a trilogy than, say, Resistance 3 did. And I know I'm going to probably get a lot of flame. Oh well, yes, this game does wrap up the trilogy better than Resistance 3 does, okay? If you're going to play this by yourself, or if you're going to play this without any friends, you're just going to do random matchmaking, excuse me, online, and you don't have any friends who are going to play this with you. If that is the case, then honestly, I would probably actually be a little bit wary about buying this game. You're going to play through the campaign once, which will be, 6 to 7 hours, and it's probably going to be really repetitive for you. You're going to go online, you're probably going to play some team deathmatch, you'll probably play a couple of the other modes. You will not be able to play Horde or Beast mode, because right now the matchmaking doesn't work for those modes. So you're actually going to get locked out of 2 of the modes. And so I have to say, if you don't have friends to play with, you're not going to do co-op. You don't have fans like I do who you can just call upon to play co-op with you like I did with Horde mode. This game's not going to be very good. It's going to be an okay game for you to just go through, and then you're going to be bored because you're only going to be limited to certain online modes. It's definitely not as much fun by yourself. It really isn't. So, honestly, if I were to rate this game, playing it by yourself, it's probably like a 7, okay? It's not great. It's good. It's better than average. Average would be 5. It's not, definitely not bad, but it's not great. It wouldn't reach that level of greatness because you're playing it by yourself, you're playing with random people, and you can't play Horde or Beast mode. It's only a 7, okay? But if you're the kind of person who has friends to play with, you have other people, you know other people who own this, you'd like to team up to go through the campaign, you want to team up online to do fun things like Horde mode and Beast mode, then this game has amazing value added to it. Just the fact that there's so many online modes to experience with your friends, that the campaign can be played with your friends, it's an amazing amount of content for $60. And if it weren't for me being so busy and knowing that now I have to move on to play other games, I would probably continue to play Gears of War 3 for a long time. I've only beaten 1 map in the Horde mode. I've only gotten, you know, the 50 stages. I've only beaten 2 maps in the Beast mode. I would love to go through all of the maps and beat all of them and get the achievements and do all of that. So I would, again, if I had time, I would do that, but I don't, unfortunately. But for someone who's going to spend $60 and you have friends you're going to team up with, you will have an amazing amount of content coming out of this game. And still, that being said, I can't score the game amazingly high because, yes, it does play very much like all of the other Gears games. Did they go for a lot of innovation? No, not at all. The gameplay is almost identical. The only real new mode added here is the Beast mode, but it's still a hell of a lot of content and a hell of a lot of fun. So, for the person who has friends to play with, it's going to add an entire new way to experience the game. This game is an 8, okay? I can't give it any higher than an 8. Because if I give it higher than an 8, that's saying they went outside the box, they did something totally new, it's amazing, it's a must-buy, you know, you have to run out. If you're not a fan of Gears, you're not going to like this game. They haven't changed anything, they haven't improved anything. But if you've liked all the Gears games up to now, you're going to love it. And like I said, you will get a lot more enjoyment out of this game if you play it with friends than if you play it by yourself. So, Gears of War 3, if you're buying it and you're only going to play it by yourself, it's a 7. If you're buying it and you have many friends to play and team up and endlessly play these online modes, it's an 8, okay? But it's not higher than an 8 because there wasn't enough innovation in the game. They didn't do anything really new. It was just a really way to close out the trilogy in a really solid way. Say, yes, that felt good, the ending felt good, and there's so much more gameplay here for me to experience. I'm going to keep playing this game, so the game gets an 8, okay? Gears of War 3. So, that's it for the Hateful Truth. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that now you have a better idea of what the game is like and, you know, if you want to get it or not. Again, I try to be fair and balanced. That's why I didn't really want to give this game 1 score, because I know there's 2 different groups of people who'll be looking to buy it. And you know what? For me, let's say, for example, when I played Gears of War 2, back in, what was that, 2009, I want to say? Or was it 2008? I don't even remember. I think it was 2009. I really didn't like Gears of War 2 that much. I thought the campaign was okay, it was good, it was fun, and I didn't like playing the online because I didn't have any friends to play with this with co-op online. So I really didn't like that one. Now, I think it's a complete 180 for me because I've had people to play this game with. So I can understand why someone who doesn't have friends who are going to co-op with them would not like this game. And that's really, essentially, you know, I have to say, it's like Dead Island. Dead Island was the same deal. I thought Dead Island was so much fun to play 4-player co-op, but I wouldn't want to play that game by myself. I would think the difficulty level, the grinding, the fact that there's not friends here to experience that shit with you, like, it wouldn't be as good. And I think this is one of those games that's the same. So really, if you want an average score between playing it by yourself and playing it with friends, it's a 7.5, okay? But really, I don't think you should average it like that. I really think you should have 2 separate scores for this particular game, because it can be played 2 different ways and you're going to enjoy them differently, okay? Alright, so that's it for the Hateful Truth on Gears of War 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. And I'll see you guys next time for the Hateful Truth game review series. Thanks a lot.